The monster appears in A City and begins to wreak havoc as he defeats Lightning Max and Smile Man. A reporter tells what has happened, and then the report was suddenly cut out, and a bold man named Saitama decides to leave. As the monster is about to kill a girl, an incoming Saitama arrives and saves her. The monster introduces itself as Vaccine Man, and claims to have come into existence to eradicate mankind due to their pollution of Earth. Vaccine Man then transforms himself into a giant monstrosity and Saitama destroys him with a single punch. After a single punch killed the monster, Saitama screamed in frustration. The episode then switches to a flashback 3 years before he became a hero, showing an unemployed Saitama's encounter with Crblante, a man who gained crab-like features after eating too much crab. The monster spares him, explaining that it is hunting a boy with a large chin. Saitama promptly encounters the child, who is revealed to have drawn nipples on Crblante with a permanent marker while he was asleep. When Crblante finds them, Saitama decides to protect the child and kills the monster by ripping out its eye stalk with his necktie. As present-day Saitama reminisces about the events while shopping, a Colossal Man attacks the city. The man is the result of an experimental steroid called Biceps Brachii King developed by his mad scientist older brother. The two set out to conquer the world, only for the older brother to observe, in shock, that Saitama is riding on his brother's other shoulder. He orders the giant to kill the man on his shoulder, accidentally causing his own death. The enraged younger brother attacks Saitama, seemingly defeating him, and bemoans the fact that despite now being the strongest man alive, he feels empty. Saitama, emerging unharmed, comments that absolute power is boring, and defeats the giant, accidentally destroying B City. After defeating the giant, he returns home at night when he was noticed by a mysterious being, revealing himself to be Super Custom YO649ZMK. 2. While Super Custom YO649ZMK 2 brags about his love to build custom cars, so much that he decked himself out and turned into a custom car-loving monster. Saitama just stares at him, and the monster insults his bald head, prompting Saitama to strike him with a single punch, killing the monster. The next morning, he wakes up to find himself in the middle of an invasion of the surface by overpopulated subterranean people, who have already exterminated 70% of humanity. Surprised by their strength, he deems them worthy opponents and engages in a mighty battle. At the moment where he has defeated a great number of them, and is about to fight the Subterranean King, he wakes up to discover that it was only a dream. Finding an actual invasion by the Subterraneans outside, he is disappointed when they quickly surrender, after he easily defeats their king, and they show a white flag that says, "Sorry about that." Outside Z City, Genos, who was first shown standing in a field of decaying cow corpses, turns and begins walking towards the city. While Saitama waters his cactus, the TV announces that the recent massive mosquito swarm is headed towards Z City, where he lives. He attempts to kill a mosquito, but fails each time. In the abandoned city, a looter taking advantage of the situation has his blood drained by the mosquitoes, which are being controlled by Mosquito Girl. She fights with Genos, who as a cyborg is not affected by the swarm, each taking a limb from the other. She then powers up by consuming the blood gathered by her swarm from the animals in the surrounding wilderness. This causes the battle between her and Genos to become one-sided, but she is killed by Saitama in a single slap. In amazement, Genos asks Saitama to become his disciple, to which he complies. Genos appears at Saitama's door days later, much to his annoyance. He explains his situation and his history between him and the mad cyborg in a long-winded monologue which frustrates Saitama. Elsewhere, a man in a secret facility analyzes Mosquito Girl's defeat and decides to capture Saitama for his experiments. Back in Saitama's apartment, Saitama and Genos' conversation is interrupted by the House of Evolution's messenger, who is promptly destroyed. Saitama is then trapped underground, while Genos faces off against Armored Gorilla, another cyborg, although Saitama soon escapes. He quickly defeats his 2 opponents, and then questions the defeated cyborg, who panics when he realizes the rest of his team has been destroyed. In the end, Dr. Genos steps into a room full of worried subordinates discussing the fate of the team in Z City. When they turn around, it is shown that they are all clones of him. The narration describes the story of Dr. Genos, a brilliant young scientist with ideas of artificially evolving humanity who became disillusioned with the world, eventually discovering the secret to immortality and creating multiple clones of himself. Saitama cuts off the narration in his impatience, and Armored Gorilla then explains that Dr. Genos is interested in Saitama's constitution, or as he puts it, his body. Saitama gets the wrong idea, believing the scientist to be homosexual until Genos explains that Genos wants Saitama for his experiments. The cyborg and Saitama decide to attack immediately, since the store discount day is the next day. Before they leave, Genos asks Armored Gorilla about any cyborgs active 4 years ago that have destroyed any towns, which Armored Gorilla denies. In preparation for Saitama's arrival, the House of Evolution sets traps in their facility and reluctantly decides to release Carnage Kabuto. Once they arrive, Genos destroys the above-ground facility with a single blast before heading underground. The released Carnage Kabuto fights with Genos, taking no damage in the process. Carnage Kabuto then faces off against Saitama, but backs off when he detects how powerful Saitama really is. Saitama then reveals to the room his somewhat mundane daily training regime of 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats and 10 kilometers of running, much to Genos' disbelief. Carnage Kabuto unleashes his Carnage mode and appears to be beating Saitama back, but it transpires that Saitama was just shocked by the realization that the store discount day was that day instead of the next, and defeats Carnage Kabuto easily, leaving soon after with Genos to catch the rest of the discount day. Having witnessed this, Dr. Genos abandons his plans of artificial evolution and realizes that he is the one who must change. Officials from the Hero Association inspect the House of Evolution blast site and discuss Genos' destructive power. A man named Hammerhead is out to make a utopia of the overworked and underpaid model of modern society. Nobody pays attention to him on the street, though, as he announces plans against the rich man Suiryu, who owns a nearby apartment building. Elsewhere, Saitama appears to be having a nightmare about playing rock, paper, scissors with someone who has a booger on their finger. Suddenly, he is angered to find out that Hammerhead has made it, so that having a bald head makes you dangerous. He runs out to put an end to it. Meanwhile, Suiryu hires his own bodyguard to protect him against the movements of Hammerhead and his gang. His bodyguard is named Speedo Sound Sonic. He faces the bald group on their way to Suiryu's lair and warns them that nobody usually survives after facing him in a fight. In just a few seconds, Sonic beheads just about all of the Hammerhead bald group. Elsewhere, Saitama is getting called a terrorist for his bald head. Finally, only Sonic and Hammerhead remain. Hammerhead manages to escape with his life, but then runs into Saitama in the forest. Hammerhead prepares to fight him by powering up. Saitama punches his entire suit off, seemingly feeling sympathy for him. Hammerhead runs away naked. Then Sonic shows up and tries to attack him, but Saitama explains that he's not one of Hammerhead's followers. But now that Saitama has blocked his attacks, Sonic still feels he must beat him. Saitama accidentally punches him in the crotch. Sonic then declares that he will train until he can beat him, while he barely stands from that one punch. Back at home, Saitama tells Genos to leave him alone as he has a serious problem to solve. The problem is, nobody has any idea who Saitama is despite all of his accomplishments. Genos tells him to sign up on the official hero register online. Saitama and Genos register together and must take a hero test to be official heroes. Saitama and Genos are finally going to become registered heroes, but first they have to pass a physical and written test in order to prove that they're worthy of being a hero. Saitama easily surpasses the physical exam and anyone else that took it. Even though he aces the physical exams, he doesn't do as well on the written part. Saitama passes the test by just 1 point and is given a C rank, while Genos gets a perfect score and is given an S rank. Saitama and Genos are the only ones who made it out of all the applicants to actually be in a class where Snek is going to teach the class. Sadly, the Class A teacher is too confident in his skills, but Genos and Saitama are clearly stronger. Then in class the teacher gets annoyed by Saitama for not paying attention and tries to teach him a lesson, only to embarrass himself. Later that day, Genos wants to spar with Saitama because of his newest upgrades. Genos still doesn't believe Saitama's secret training strategy and thinks there must be some other secret that even Saitama himself might not know. Meanwhile, Genos is giving it his all in the spar, while Saitama is just messing around, not really caring about the fight. So he asks Saitama to give it his all, and right when he does, the fight ends without Saitama even hitting him. Then Genos came to realize that Saitama is on another level that even he himself can't pass by just training. After the training, they visit a Newton shop, where they had an eating contest, where Genos had no problem completing, while Saitama nearly passed out. Sweet Mask suddenly came and requested to speak to Genos outside. Sweet Mask came to congratulate Genos and welcome him to the team, much to Genos' surprise. Saitama is busy lazing about and reading manga as Genos studies his unorthodox training methods, sketching down his every move and antic. The former pinches his brow in frustration, contemplating how much of a pain it will be to keep this charade of being his master going. The cyborg mentions his concern over his inactivity over the past few days, stating that due to an overabundance of C-class heroes, the association eventually strike those who are inactive for more than a week from their registry. Shocked and horrified by this revelation, Saitama sets out on patrol before the last day kicks in, having already been inactive as a hero for 6 days. Saitama rebuffs Genos' request of accompanying him by telling him to train himself in patience, though in reality, Saitama does not know how or in what way to instruct him, and spouts things off the top of his head. Having been out on patrol for 2 whole peaceful days, the hapless hero fidgets nervously as this is his last day, to avoid getting laid off. As if to make matters worse, Speedo Sound Sonic shows up to settle their imaginary rivalry, only for Saitama to brush him off, greatly provoking the ninja into attacking him, only for the latter to bite his sword in half. Greatly bewildered by these events, Sonic finds himself intimidated by the Earth Saitama, who threatens to hit him just as a bystander sitting next to a boisterous upper-rank hero, Tank Top Tiger, who reproaches Saitama's crazed antics, began revealing in public adoration and later enticed Saitama to make a big deal out of it, just to entice his own rise in popularity, only to be cut down by a hail of exploding shuriken which sends the crowding masses into a panic. Recognizing Sonic to be the culprit, the assailant soon forces his hand by causing havoc around the populated area with a lethal bombardment. Saitama, while still busy looking for hero work to do, realizes Sonic had provided him with the pick-me-up he needed and swiftly knocks the latter out cold, saving the day. Meanwhile, at a Hero Association facility, an investigation is being set up at the abandoned area in City Z. We are then introduced to a green-haired woman with a black dress named Tatsumaki who wants to be the investigator, but she then is told that this isn't a Class S-type investigation, and instead 2 Class A heroes are being sent. In Z City, the 2 aforementioned heroes are busy patrolling the streets, wondering about a rumor they had heard of about a pretty dangerous monster who lives in said area. After finding next to nothing on the job, they eventually find signs of said mysterious being and chase off after it. Having run into Combo Infinity, who had also heard rumors of a powerful group of monsters in the city, engage the duo, easily swatting the best efforts of both aside. Realizing they are outmatched, Mustachio dials for reinforcements, just before he is swiftly defeated. Upset that his opposition was so weak, Combo sets out to create the rumor he and his fellow monsters initially heard about, soon after Saitama returns from a market sale. When Combo notices him, the former relents on not having been able to secure some Combo soup stock just before the monster attacks him. When next seen, Saitama is just cooking some Combo soup when Genos comes in. A group of heroes investigate the ghost town area of City Z and are amazed by a destroyed building, which gives them an idea that there might be more monsters in the area. After the end credits, Genos tells Saitama that his rank went from 388 to 342. Genos finds out that he is voted number 6 in popularity, which makes Saitama jealous. Just before an incident, scientists and astronomers are busy studying the flight pattern of a meteorite just as it passes over the Earth. When its course suddenly changes trajectory, a mass warning system breaks out that a huge meteor from space is about to strike Z City. While at home, Genos and Saitama are conversing over hero rankings, with one jumping from lowest 388th rank to 345th rank in C-Class, while the other remains in the same position, but gaining a mass popularity base. Just then a notice is sent out to all S-Class heroes available on scene, as to prep a counteractive response to the latest threat, but only the few upper-class heroes to show up are Bang and Genos, who set out to stop it. Bang mentions to Genos the notice for the meteor evacuation protocols have already engaged, and that he should clear out before it's too late. He himself, however, cannot leave the city due to family honor and personal reasons, but when he was about to properly introduce himself, the younger hero had already left. Out hopping over rooftops to intercept the impact designation, Genos notices a bunch of civilians who have given up hope of survival and caved into despair. Genos theorizes that it is too late to evacuate, seeing as the meteor will destroy countless cities neighboring it. His resolution is affirmed as the cyborg hero also states his teacher lives here too, and that he cannot simply abandon him. Then Metal Knight shows up to test out a new weapon against the meteor, but was uninterested in teaming up with another hero to avert the crisis. However, his arsenal failed to stop the meteor. Then Genos stepped up to divert the incoming calamity himself, but was immobilized by thoughts of failure until Bang arrived and clears away his doubts. In the end, after trying and failing to stop the celestial body from falling, it is Saitama who destroys it in the end, smashing it to pieces in one blow. The impact of which, however, scatters its fragments across most parts of the city, leaving many of its citizens without most of their homes and belongings. The next day, Saitama moved to learn that Genos rose in rank, and was shocked to find that he sped past ranks 300 to 5th after the incident. Curious as to what the threat level ranking means, Saitama asked a ladder about them, his student stating most heroes adhere to them for when to mobilize against it, surmising this does not count as Saitama, who retorts saying who will fight for the helpless if the heroes run, leading Genos to passionately archive his words. While out on patrol over the damaged city, the sore-losing Tank Top Tiger calls his brother Tank Top Black Hole, who rallies a mob of citizens who are angry and are blaming Saitama for the destruction, completely ignoring the fact that had Saitama not destroyed the meteor, everyone would have died. When the two try to make a newbie crush into a public display, Saitama turns the tables, much to the prediction of a watching Fang, and shames the mob chanting for his execution with a world of cardboard speech stating he did nothing wrong, exclaiming he does playing the hero for a hobby, not for their adoration, but because he likes it, and that they can hate him all they want, because he doesn't care what they think. A Seafolk messenger announces that the Seafolk are coming to the surface to kill all the humans. Saitama is on his way home from shopping, and stops by to punch the messenger. Mumen Rider is late to the scene, and sees only the destroyed body of the creature, and hears the crowd talking about Saitama. Mumen Rider looks Saitama up on the internet, and sees that he is powerful, but opinions are divided on him. At the coast, several large Seafolk monsters emerge from the sea, threatening J City. The 8-class hero Stinger challenges them with his powerful bamboo shoot weapon. Meanwhile, Genos is drying dishes with his built-in equipment as Saitama watches a news report about Stinger's battle against the Seafolk. The two decide to head out to confront the threat. Back at the fight, Stinger takes out the last 4 Seafolk with a gigantic drill Stinger quadruple thrust attack, but is then bested by the Sea King, the leader of the Seafolk. Saitama, Genos, and Mumen Rider all set off to confront the threat. Genos splits off from Saitama to scout ahead. Various other powerful humans confront Sea King to no avail, including Lightning Max, Puri Prisoner, and Speedo Sound Sonic. Sonic fights the Sea King to a standstill until the Sea King is moistened by the rain, thus unleashing his true form. Sonic is forced to retreat. Meanwhile, Saitama and Mumen Rider meet each other on the way to the fight. Saitama goes off to find Sonic, who he sees running naked through the rain. Mumen Rider gets a phone call from Hero Association headquarters about the location of the Sea King, and decides to go confront the monster, who has just broken into an emergency shelter and has taken down the heroes inside, including Snack, and is dispatching the heroes there. Saitama returns to where he met Mumen Rider to find a discarded cell phone. As Saitama is waiting for the Hero Association to decide whether they want him to help fight the Deep Sea King or not, Genos initiates battle and seemingly defeats the monster with a massive attack. However, he lets his guard down and gets one of his arms ripped off. He tells the people to run while he distracts the monster, since victory is no longer assured. He seems to be doing a good job until the Deep Sea King launches a glob of acid at the little girl, which Genos intercepts, and it melts his bionic body, nearly killing him. In that moment, right before the Sea King would have finished Genos off, Mumen Rider appears and engages the Deep Sea King. He is defeated easily, but refuses to give up. Upon seeing this, the people decide to encourage him, but to no avail. When Mumen Rider is knocked out, he is caught by Saitama, who had been instructed by the association to provide backup, and arrives in that exact moment. After exchanging a few words with the Deep Sea King, he defeats him with a single punch, and is praised by the townspeople. Sonic also reappears with his weapons in a different part of town, but as soon as the Deep Sea King must have fled. Back at their apartment, Genos and Saitama get a delivery of fan mail from the Hero Association. Genos is praised, while Saitama gets a hateful letter, calling him a cheat. The episode reverts to a flashback from right after Saitama's victory. The people are ecstatic to have been saved, and are impressed by Saitama's swift victory. However, one of them starts bad-mouthing the other heroes, saying how they must have been frauds, no matter their rank, since they got beaten. His reasoning is that the Deep Sea King could not have been that tough if a C-class hero defeated it in one punch. Upon hearing this, Saitama laughs and downplays his victory to save the reputations of the other heroes by saying that he got lucky and the job was easy for him, since he came late and the monster had been weakened. He also tells the people to care for the fallen heroes so he can continue to cash in on their work. The people accept him as nothing but a fraud and thank the Fallen for their work. Genos decides not to interfere with Saitama's decision, but promises to intervene if this choice were ever to push Saitama into a corner in the future. The episode jumps back to present time, and Saitama realizes he has another letter, this one only saying thank you. He then finds a third letter from the Hero Association, telling him he is now first rank C-Class, and calling him in to discuss a promotion to B-Class. Saitama accepts, making him 100 first rank, B-Class. The episode jumps to Sweet Mask during his work. One of his subordinates tells him that Saitama moved up a rank. Sweet Mask seems to not care, as he is disappointed by the work of the A and S rank heroes in a Deep-Sea King case. However, he changes his mind when he is told that Saitama was the one to actually defeat the monster. Meanwhile in the hospital, Lightning Max and Stinger are recuperating when Puri Prisoner enters, wanting to administer angel shots to the two. They escape, dropping the newspapers they had been reading, and Puri Prisoner is upset when he sees that he is called an S-rank failure in the news. The episode ends with Saitama walking home at night with his promotion. He encounters Mumen Rider in a roadside Odin shop. Mumen Rider reveals he sent the thank you letter and pays for Saitama's dinner. After the credits, Shibubawa, a fortune teller, warns an official from the Hero Association that the Earth is doomed. The ancient king of the Terror Lizard clan appears, and Tatsumaki is sent to deal with him. After a short quarrel, Tatsumaki sends a meteor from outer space to destroy the monster. At Bang's dojo, Bang tells Saitama and Genos about how his former best student, Garou, went wild and defeated all of his other top students. Suddenly, a Hero Association staff member comes and informs the heroes that an emergency has been declared and all S-Class heroes have been called to a meeting. At the association, Saitama meets Atomic Samurai, an arrogant S-Class hero, and others, Puri Prisoner, Metal Bat, Tank Top Master, Fleshy Flash, Watchdog Man, Super Alloy Darkshine, Pig God, Drive Knight, Zombieman, King, Child Emperor. Sitch, a member of the association, starts the meeting by telling the heroes that the emergency would be perilous, and even with their skills, there is no guarantee of survival. Also, the great Seer, Madame Shibubawa, had died while becoming agitated and choking on a cough pill because of a coughing fit while predicting the future. Sitch mentions that Shibubawa's predictions have always been 100% accurate, be it monster attacks or natural disasters. Before she died, she left a note, thought to be her greatest prophecy. The note read the Earth is in trouble, alarming the heroes. He warns the heroes to prepare for a fight in the next 6 months. Just after he says this, the HQ is attacked by Skyfolk, who are quickly slain by Mulzargard, a member of the Dark Matter Thieves. An alien spacecraft then proceeds to destroy a city, causing a large number of casualties. Just as Mulzargard is about to kill some civilians, Iain, a student of Atomic Samurai, arrives and engages him in battle. Saitama encounters the alien ship and advances towards it, avoiding some projectiles thrown at him, and damaging the ship. Meanwhile, Mulzargard proves to be a challenge for Iain, and causes him to lose his left arm before Atomic Samurai intervenes, saving his student from death. Mulzargard, however, regenerates and the hero's attacks seem to cause no damage to him. Then, Metal Bat, Bang, and Puri Prisoner arrive. Puri Prisoner recalls Deep-Sea King's words, and enters Dark Angel form and unleashes punches onto Mulzargard. Elsewhere, the other S-Class heroes discuss how to bring down the ship. As they offer differing views, Genos notes that Saitama has already entered the ship and has slain a large number of the aliens. He comments that there is no evil that Saitama is unable to defeat. Saitama encounters Garibus, an alien, and manages to destroy him with one punch. Saitama continues to destroy the ship, wondering where the boss might be. At the end, Boros is seen on his throne. Jiryanshu complains about Garibus' defeat as he and Mulzargard are the only elite fighters left on the ship. Boros walks in and Jiryanshu informs Boros that the ship is badly damaged by the human intruder, but Boros tells him not to fear as the sphere keeping them safe won't allow that to happen. Meanwhile, below the ship, Puri Prisoner's efforts were futile as Mulzargard simply regenerates back into his form. Iain tells the other heroes that it is pointless to keep trying. Mulzargard tells his other head to go and contact the ship for a bombardment. As the head flies away, Metal Bat smacks him down. Mulzargard and Jiryanshu telepathically tell each other that both sides are dealing with big trouble as Saitama reaches another door. Atomic Samurai, Puri Prisoner, and Bang join forces, and attack Mulzargard together as Iain tells them once more that direct hits have no effect on it. He tells them to retreat and think of a better way to handle the situation. Atomic Samurai, Puri Prisoner, Bang, and Metal Bat keep attacking Mulzargard, telling Ian it is the only thing they know. Mulzargard and Geryuganshu again speak telepathically, saying the life forms below are persistently attacking him, and requested for a cleansing bombardment. Geryuganshu is too busy, but notifies the artillery crew. Geryuganshu leaves the conversation, and while Mulzargard was distracted, Metal Bat finds a marble within Mulzargard before he could regenerate, thus destroying the marble and part of Mulzargard for good. Geryuganshu tries to lead Saitama out of the ship, and Saitama went the opposite direction to find the controls room. He finally finds Geryuganshu, who has incredible telepathic powers that can manipulate everything and anything, but in the end Saitama throws a pebble at him that destroys Geryuganshu. Meanwhile, Dark Matter Gunner is preparing a bombardment. Child Emperor and Genos are assessing the situation on ground level, while Bearded Worker and Sitch are communicating to assess the situation. Mumen Rider helps evacuate a victim to safety. Down on the ground, the heroes are busting Mulzargard's heads, and the 4 heroes look up with shell bombardment ready to attack. After it shoots, Tatsumaki appears and stops the bullets in midair, cursing the other 4 heroes fighting Mulzargard. She then turns the bullets and forces them back onto the ship full force. Stinger and Lightning Max appear to the Bearded Worker, wanting to help too. Bang destroys another marble when Mulzargard slaps the concrete along with Bang, who takes a direct hit. He sticks on a building, unconscious. With one more head left, Mulzargard threatens to crush Atomic Samurai's head, and he retaliates after seeing his comrade in that condition. Saitama finds Boros, who scans him for power, saying Saitama is Earth's strongest warrior with limitless energy. Boros treats Saitama with respect, and tells him his name and the prophecy by an alien seer that brought the dominator of the universe to Earth. Saitama punches Boros after being annoyed with what he heard, telling him he cannot attack other planets, just to liven up his boring life. Surprisingly, the alien survives the punch, and the armor used to seal in his immense power breaks apart, with his true form emerging. Boros continues to fight with Saitama, which leads to Boros losing an arm. The fight continues on, even reaching the point where Saitama finds himself on the moon, but soon returns. The heroes fight Mulzargard, who is ultimately destroyed by Bang, who recovers and destroys the final marble in Mulzargard's final head. Meanwhile, Mumen Rider, Stinger, and Lightning Max rescue the last of the survivors. The fight between Saitama and Boros continues, and it is revealed that Boros has regenerative powers. However, the fight continues on to the point where they are both forced to use their most powerful moves respectively. Saitama emerges victorious, with Boros admitting he was not even close to Saitama. After the fight, Drive Knight leaves, after telling Genos that Metal Knight is his enemy. Sweet Mask appears, and blames the S-Class heroes for the destruction of the city, nearly causing a fight which is interrupted by Metal Knight, who emerges to salvage parts of the ship. Meanwhile, Super Alloy Darkshine discovers alien survivors, whom Sweet Mask makes quick work of as Genos sees his past self in Sweet Mask. Saitama emerges from the ship to witness Tatsumaki having a tantrum. Genos tells her to shut up while calling her a brat, which causes her to smash him into a nearby rock. Bang interrupts before it can get any worse. The parts Metal Knight salvages from the ship are used to rebuild the Hero Association HQ, which takes the place of City A, which is wiped off the map. The A and S class heroes are invited to stay in the newly rebuilt Hero Association HQ. In a post-credits scene, Pluton, a dragon-level mysterious being, has appeared in Z City and caused massive destruction to everything in its path. Soon after, Saitama, with a single punch, defeats the monster as he cries out that life is back to one-punch defeats. Saitama and Genos are returning from the grocery store when they spot King, S-class hero rank Zeton. Tongue Stretcher terrorizes the populace, but immediately surrenders when confronting King due to hearing King's engine. A robot named G-Force soon challenges King to a fight, but lets King leave with his excuse of going to the bathroom, so they can fight at full power. However, G4 will start murdering innocent civilians nearby if King doesn't return in 10 minutes. King panics because he isn't the strongest human alive, but a normal ordinary attacker who happened to be at the right place at the right time where monsters were destroyed, and was given the credit, which he started accepting to become popular. When King sees Genos fighting G4, King runs away to his house to play his video game, Heartbird Hottie Sisters 2. Saitama follows him, and King is embarrassed to be caught playing a dating sim and switches to another game. Saitama plays video games with King, much to King's chagrin. Giant Crow attacks King's apartment, and in a state of panic King wets his pants and exposes his deception. Saitama kills the bird monster, which makes King realize it was Saitama who had saved him from the monster, Octopus Claw Man, that gave him the scar on his left eye long ago. Afterwards, Saitama plays video games with King, while Genos gets upgrades from G4's equipment from Dr. Kuseno after defeating the robot. Sitch announces that he will be recruiting criminals to battle monsters due to the increased rate of monster appearances and the impending prophecy from Shibababa. With heroes stretched thin, the Hero Association is willing to speedo Sound Sonic leaves the meeting after discovering Saitama was not present, as he only attended the meeting to fight him. In Zisini, Fubuki is discussing Saitama's unusual strength and rise in ranks with Eyelashes and Mountainade. They head out to look for Saitama. Saitama continues playing video games with King, and is visibly annoyed at King hogging all the items to the point of accidentally destroying his controller. In the post-credit scene, a man named Garou proclaims that this will be a slaughter party after reading the paper. During the meeting, Garou insults both the heroes and the criminals, saying that he is on the side of monsters and declares everyone else as his enemy. He beats up the criminals in Sitchu's Garks, Magic Trick Man, Blue Fire, and Heavy Tank Loincloth using his martial arts skills. Garou leaves Sitch alone to leave as a message to spread the word of the monster Garou. Meanwhile, Saitama is at his apartment playing video games on the PlayStation Portable that he borrowed from King. While Genos is doing chores, he hears a knock on the door. Genos opens the door to see Speedo Sound Sonic trying to find Saitama to fight him. While Genos and Sonic fight someplace else, Fubuki, leader of the Blizzard group and V-Class Rank 1 hero, tries to coerce Saitama in joining her faction. Fubuki fails to convince Saitama and orders her underlings, Eyelashes and Mountainade, to attack him, but Saitama easily meets them in one punch. Fubuki uses her psychic abilities to seemingly defeat Saitama, but Saitama remains unfazed from her attacks. He then berates her for surrounding herself with underlings to bolster her own strength. However, he tells her when she faces an enemy who would be stronger than her and her underlings, she will have no one to rely on. Saitama proclaims that factions are useless and warns the Esper to never involve heroes ever again. Fubuki ignores his lecture and tries to attack him again, but Saitama notices Sonic and Genos fighting behind her before an imminent explosion. When the explosion clears, it is shown that Saitama saved Fubuki from the blast while remaining unscathed himself. Genos introduces himself to Fubuki as Saitama's disciple, much to her surprise, as an S-Class hero being a disciple of a B-Class hero makes no sense to her. Sonic insults Genos by saying that he's slow, while Genos counters that he wasn't even trying. Genos gets faster and manages to cut off Sonic's ponytail. Sonic retorts by becoming even faster and making shadow clone after images. Genos tries to create a huge explosion which would defeat Sonic, but Saitama knocks Genos down beforehand, reminding him of why he has his weapons in the first place and that, if he made the explosion, it would have destroyed Saitama's apartment. Saitama then challenges Sonic much to Sonic's excitement, and Sonic uses a more advanced shadow clone technique than the one he used on Genos. Saitama counters it with killer move, Serious Side Hops. Sonic is shocked, and in the moment Saitama passes through Sonic's after images causing Sonic to crash to the ground, badly bruised and defeated, while Fubuki silently watches the whole thing in awe of Saitama's ability to easily defeat such a powerful opponent. Later in Saitama's apartment, Fubuki reveals that she is the younger sister of Tatsumaki, S-Class Hero Rank 2 known as Tornado of Terror. Due to Tatsumaki being overwhelmingly strong compared to her, Fubuki gathers underlings to be stronger. Genos asks why she doesn't strive to be A-Class Rank 1, but Fubuki says she can't, because the heroes holding the top spot of A-Class such as Sweet Mask and Atomic Samurai's disciples are beyond her strength. Fubuki also says that she would never be rank number 1. Fubuki tries to convince Saitama one last time to join your faction, but Saitama refuses. Before Fubuki could insult him, King arrives to retrieve his video game console. Fubuki is shocked to be in King's presence, while Saitama tries to explain that he accidentally destroyed the PSP as well as erased King's save data. The Hero Association gives Saitama the hero name Caked Baldy because of his appearance, while Genos is named Demon Cyber due to his aggressive and unrelenting attacks. In the closing scene, Garou defeats Tank Top Vegetarian in an alleyway. The episode begins in Z City at Bang's dojo, where a beaten and bruised Chiranko lies motionless on the floor. Bang urges him to keep fighting due to him being in the dojo for 6 months, but when Chiranko doesn't stand, Bang shames him for not being able to learn any martial arts, and kicks him out of the dojo, telling him to never return. Later, Chiranko is seen talking in Saitama's apartment with Genos. When Genos asks Chiranko about what happened to him, Chiranko explains how Bang suddenly beat him senseless while stating it was a lesson. King, Fubuki and Saitama can be seen doing their own thing. Genos inquires whether Bang's strange behavior is linked with Garou's recent rampage at the Hero Association, and theorizes Bang wanted Chiranko to leave in order to keep him safe from Garou's wrath. When Genos asks Saitama over the recent events, Saitama's only thoughts are on Bang's hero name, Silver Fang, and ponders how it is far cooler sounding than Caped Baldy. As Chiranko leaves and walks around, he thinks how he himself had been holding Bang back from doing the right thing. As he thinks of what he would do to Garou, he hears Garou himself in the distance, talking with Mumen Rider. Mumen Rider, thinking Garou is a fan of him, is shocked that Garou plans to hunt heroes, starting with him. As Garou states his intention of being a monster, Tank Top Vegetarian arrives with the Tank Topper army, seeking revenge for the previous day. Garou quickly punches him, and proceeds to attack the rest of the group, when Tank Top Master himself arrives, punching Garou away. As an excited Garou sees an S-class hero in the battle, Tank Top Master punches the ground, splitting the concretes, unbalancing Garou, and proceeds to charge and ram Garou with his famous Tank Top tackle. As the Tank Topper army marvels at their leader's strength, Garou lands from being launched in the air, but bleeds from the hit. Seeing Garou survive, Tank Top Master ponders whether Garou is really human. Back in the dojo, Bang stands by himself before his brother, Bomb, arrives. Bang thanks his older brother for taking the time to help him, but states how in the years past, since he defeated and banished Garou, how much stronger and more dangerous Garou is now. Back in the battle, Tank Top Master continues to beat Garou with more attacks. He wonders how, despite being human, he feels an urge to kill him as a monster. Before landing the final punch on Garou, Mumen Rider runs in and takes the punch himself. As he gets up, he reprimands Tank Top Master for attempting to kill a human as a hero. A shocked Tank Top Master agrees and feels guilty, though his Tank Topper army argues that it was Garou who instigated a fight with them. Stating the fight was over, Tank Top Master tells a bloodied and bruised Garou to leave and never cause trouble again. As Garou walks away, faking his remorse, he stops and states that he'll kill them all anyway. Expecting his attitude, Tank Top Master lands a blow on Garou. Garou swings around and unwittingly performs use the Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist martial art. He uses it to great effect, and brings Tank Top Master to his knees in mere seconds. As Garou taunts the injured S-class hero, he states that it will be his job as the human monster to defeat heroes. Tank Top Master hears his name, Garou the human monster, and urges him to spare his group. Mumen Rider tries to ram his bike at Garou, but is grabbed by the neck and mercilessly pummeled to the ground, breaking his helmet and bloodying his face. Garou then speeds around the Tank Topper army, and with his superior martial arts and speed, he brutally beats them all in a display of skill, speed, and violence. A nearby Chiranko hears the carnage, and finally tries to beat Garou by using Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist, but is defeated anyway. In the morning, Bang and Bomb sees the damage Garou has done, and remark on where he will strike next. Bang sees a beaten Chiranko on the ground, his last pupil trying to end the problem he himself created. 3 C-class heroes walk around trying to find Garou. 2 of them, Studless and Hayatoko, are unnerved at the news Garou defeated an S-class hero, but the third, Red Nose, pushes their worries aside, stating Garou is only a human. As they try to reason and say that Garou is a former student of Bang, Red Nose confidently shows of his own martial arts technique. As he demonstrates how he will beat Garou, Garou himself shows up behind him, beating them off-screen. Saitama visits Mumen Rider in the hospital with some bananas to cheer him up. Mumen Rider expresses gratitude that Saitama showed up to visit him. Saitama states how the incident is all over the Hero Association newspaper, and Mumen Rider explains how, despite being human, Darren was more skilled and dangerous than even the Deep Sea King. Tank Top Master joins the conversation and says how it was his martial arts skills that defeated them. Saitama wonders who the stranger who joined them is, and recognizes him as the one who got his ass beaten the most. Tank Top Master angrily states he was holding his ground, but is calmed and compassed when Saitama offers him a banana. Meanwhile, Terio, a lonely kid, is reading a book in a playground when Garou suddenly appears. Garou takes interest in his book, and Terio explains it was a guide about different heroes and monsters in the past. Garou tries to borrow the book, but Terio stingily refuses. A short while later, he notices how it states when specific heroes go to certain places at certain times and use the information to continue his hero hunt. Tank Top Master explains to Saitama how, while most monsters use their energy in a frenzied attack to do damage, Garou specifically uses techniques and skills to bring down opponents by targeting vulnerable weak points. His martial arts allow him to do more damage than what he receives. Saitama then visits Chiranko in the hospital and tells him about his intentions to learn martial arts and get better. Chiranko instead antagonizes him about how he can't begin martial arts as someone who knows not even the basics and principles, suggesting he go to Bang since Bang already wanted Saitama to become a student of him. As Saitama leaves, saying that Chiranko was useless, the latter begs him to return and gives him a ticket to the super fight martial arts competition he entered. Chiranko tells him that as he is injured he can't attend, but the ticket allows entry into the stadium and that Saitama can watch the fights. Saitama ignores him and stares at the prospect of the 3 million yen prize to the final champion. At a bar, Garou attempts to goad the A-class hero Golden Ball into a fight, even rudely destroying his beer pint in order to get to him. Eventually, Golden Ball leads him to a dark alleyway to fight. As Garou says how as drunk as he is, Golden Ball won't defeat him. He is caught off guard by a shaped memory Golden Ball that raises his cheek. Stating that the hero hunter is nothing compared to him, Golden Ball ricochets another shot that hits Garou's right leg. Frustrated at Garou's continually boasting, Golden Ball unleashes his golden breakout move, firing multiple shots that ricochet around the alley. Garou dodges the projectiles with minimal effort, shocking the A-class hero and eventually brings all the projectiles down with blocks and ticks. Without any more ammo left, Golden Ball is left at the mercy of Gary's wrath when Spring Mustachio arrives. When Garou states that swinging a sword in the cramped area would disadvantage him, Golden Ball advises Spring Mustachio that Garou's leg is injured, slowing him down. Spring Mustachio forces Garou back with frenzied sword swings, and manages to position Garou for his tomboy finishing move. Garou, instead of being defeated, allows the sword to pierce his hand, shocking Spring Mustachio, and defeating him in a single punch to the face. Garou states how the Hero Guide's contents list their finishing moves, and allowed him to defeat them. When Golden Ball states him not to get too cocky, that someone will eventually beat him, Garou responds by saying he will get stronger and stronger, and will be as cocky as he wants to be. In the city, Zaymit, a sleazy worker of the Hero Association, is walking with 2 young girls at his side, saying how as a worker of the Hero Association, it is his job to maintain peace. He states how he may allow the girls to see Sweet Mask, their idol, if they kiss his cheeks. When the girl feels unsure, Garou arrives behind them and states how he wants to see Sweet Mask too, kisses his fist, before punching Zaymit unconscious. Garou walks around, stating to himself how great it felt to beat those A-class heroes, and now he feels like stepping and poop for beating that pathetic Hero Association worker, stating that his pathetic boasting makes him sick. As Garou walks around, he hears Saitama behind him. Saitama has found a wake, stating how he finally found him. Thinking Saitama is just a low-level hero, trying to gain attention for beating Garou, he attempts to silence Saitama with a swift chop to the shoulder, cracking the ground at the bottom of his feet. Garou becomes shocked, but his strike did nothing. Saitama asks him if Garou is trying to rob him, and returns with a chop of his own, bringing Garou down, and knocking him unconscious from the sheer force. In a post-credits scene, Genos sees Saitama put on a wake. Worried about Saitama's bald crisis, Genos calls Dr. Kuseno and asks about synthetic hair implants for his master. Saitama tries to reason with Genos, stating how the wig is for the martial arts competition he is entering today. When Garou was young, he always rooted for the bad guys to win due to the good guys being too popular. When he asked his father replies that the good guys will always win. Garou found that unfair to the monsters, because to him the monsters were always the ones trying their best to win, but will lose all the time, because they were seen as freaks. Unwilling to accept the status quo, Garou resolved to become the strongest monster and never lose, and to change the scenario. Garou wakes up from his defeat against Saitama, with no memory of what happened. Garou meets up with the same young boy, Terio, and sees Watchdog Man and Metal Bat, and plans to find them. Saitama signs up for the Super Fight tournament posing as Chiranko, and is looking over a list of the contestants of the tournament when Sourface, a former disciple of Bang, shows up. Sourface plans to win the tournament, to be famous like Bang, and reveals that a year before a contestant named Wolfman won the tournament. However, the authorities found the real Wolfman tied up, which is why there's a new rule, that if there are any participants that are wearing disguises, or is an imposter, then the participant will be disqualified and banned from the tournament forever, as well as paying a heavy fee. It is also revealed that 6 months ago Garou decided that he has nothing left to learn, and rampaged through the dojo, disabling many of the students, including Sourface. Garou then received a beating from Bang, and was expelled from the dojo, which also caused Sourface to quit the dojo. When Sourface insults Chiranko, Saitama points out that at least Chiranko was brave to fight against Garou one-on-one, while Sourface quit, and vows to win the tournament, which angers Sourface. Meanwhile, the Hero Association plans to protect its officials from monster attacks by assigning S-class heroes as their bodyguards. King manages to talk his way out by misrepresenting the facts by stating that he's fighting against a secret boss which the staff misunderstood as a real monster, where in reality he is playing a video game. Metalbat is forced to babysit Narinki, a VIP sponsor of the Hero Association, and his son Waganma at a mouse sushi restaurant in S-City instead of watching his little sister play piano. When Metalbat receives a call from his sister, two monsters, Junior Centipede and Venus Mantrap, attack Narinki, but Metalbat easily kills them. Suddenly, another monster named Senior Centipede attacks Metalbat. A monster named Reflectin appears and releases sleeping gas which knocks out Narinki and Waganma. Metalbat is forced to endure many hits before hitting himself in the head, which pumps adrenaline and wakes him up before killing the two demon-level monster. Two local heroes, Pineapple and Mohican, took Narinki and Waganma when a dragon-level monster named Elder Centipede attacks Metalbat. During the fight, Elder Centipede knocks Metalbat near Garou. Thinking that Metalbat is dead, Garou plans to find Watchdog Man when Metalbat wakes up. Garou wants to fight Metalbat. Metalbat initially refuses, but barely blocks an attack from Garou. Meanwhile, a martial artist named Suiryu asks two girls to lead him to the Super Fight tournament. Metal Knight attempts to battle Elder Centipede by firing missiles, but fails to make even a scratch. After a lengthy battle, Garou seemingly beats Metalbat, but grudgingly admits that Metalbat would have won if he hit him once. To Garou's surprise, Metalbat gets up and nearly kills Garou when Garou's back was turned, but stops when his younger sister, Zenko, finds him. Garou counterattacks and is about to hit Metalbat when Zenko gets between them and orders them to stop fighting due to a promise of Metalbat never showing violence to Zenko. Garou relents, having a soft spot for kids, and walks away to find Watchdog Man. Metalbat attempts to confront Elder Centipede, but collapses due to too much damage from his battles with Elder Centipede and Garou. The two C-class heroes, Pineapple and Mohican, who had the unconscious Narinki and Waganma, are confronted by Rhino Wrestler and are both swiftly defeated, which causes the monsters to capture Waganma. Sludge Jellyfish uses his way towards Zenko to use as a hostage, but is blasted apart by Garou. Garou prepares to fight, but Phoenix Man calls for a ceasefire. The two monsters try to persuade Garou to join the Monster Association, but Garou refuses. Phoenix Man promises Garou that they will meet again if Garou continues to hunt for heroes, and tells Elder Centipede and the rest of the monsters to retreat, with Metal Knight attaching itself to Elder Centipede and following them. Meanwhile, in the Super Fight tournament, Saitama is introduced to Bakizan, Suiryu, Lightning Max, Lin Lim, Hamdukichi, Chose, Zeikos, and Snek with Genos in the crowd. Suiryu notices Bakizan's bloodlust towards him, and is only after the prize money, although Suiryu wished he could have fought against Wolfman, Darren at the time. After Lightning Max defeats Lin Lim, Zeikos reveals that the fighters are often paired up based on their apparent strength. Saitama deduces that Zeikos is weak since he's paired up with Saitama being sorted due to him appearing weak, which angers Zeikos. Bang and Bomb are trying to find Garou, and Bang lets out his frustration on a monster named Fist Fight Jin, killing him violently. Many monsters of different disaster levels, Martial Gorilla, Dues, 100 Isotopus, Pureblood, Mycoplasma, and more, simultaneously attack heroes, stretching the hero's force thing which alarms the Hero Association. Before Dues could kill Dynamite Man, her power being that, if she whips someone, they will be under her control. With her mind-controlled heroes, Fubuki stops her attack. Saitama slapped Zeikos in one hit, winning the battle much to Saitama's annoyance. Suiryu notices Saitama's strength and is excited that he will face Saitama in the finals. Lightning Max loses his fight with Suiryu, while Genos gets a message concerning a lot of monsters around the city. Snek beats his opponent Banpatsu as the announcers receive alerts about monsters and plan on evacuating the audience, but Bakizan convinces them not to. Sourface beats his opponent Jakuman, but they part on good terms. Sourface excitedly tells Saitama that he won, but Saitama had gone to the bathroom. When Saitama faces off against Bakizan, Bakizan sadistically describes how he will destroy Saitama, but when Bakizan touches Saitama's wig, Saitama comically punches him out of the tournament in one hit. Genos manages to kill all but one of the monsters, the demon-level awakened cockroach, whom barely escaped. While Genos' back was turned, he is suddenly attacked by a mysterious being. Some of the Hero Association members find Pineapple and Mohican, and they learn that Waganma was captured, but not Narinki. Meanwhile, Dues successfully manages to brainwash all of Fubuki's henchmen, but Fubuki repels them back. Dues asserts she's attacking Fubuki so that she can face Tatsumaki, but Fubuki tells her that whenever she's hurt, Tatsumaki will know. Right on cue, a monster lands in front of Dues, with Tatsumaki arriving. Do-S orders Fubuki's mind-controlled henchman to attack Tatsumaki while she flees, but Tatsumaki easily knocks the henchman into buildings. Tatsumaki lectures Fubuki that surrounding yourself with henchmen will cause you to become weak before flying away. When Suiryu and Snek face off, Suiryu casually avoids Snek's strikes. He taunts Snek by telling him that he is ineffectual as a hero and that he sought power with no particular agenda. Suryu's nonchalant attitude enrages Snek, but Suiryu knocks him out with a single blow as he muses that no matter what happens, the truly strong will always survive. In the post-credits scene, Garou sees Watchdog Man, Saitama is in the bathroom, and a dragon-level monster named Goketsu is revealed to be the one who defeated Genos. Sweet Mask's concert is attacked by monsters. A group of monsters are attacking a hospital, where Mumen Rider and Tank Top Master are at. A monster named Nyan looks for Puri prisoner, but the prisoners reveal that Puri prisoner escaped prison to fight against the monsters, and two monsters named Gyaro and Arachi have captured Metal Knight. Child Emperor uses his robot Underdog Man number 22 to analyze a monster named Eyesight's poisons to find a cure for the paralysis. He proceeds to detonate Underdog Man when it's near Eyesight, but that did not successfully kill her as she hardened her skin. Eyesight then manages to find Child Emperor, but is interrupted and eaten by Pig God as class hero rank 10. Pig God decides to go after the other monsters in White City afterwards. Drive Knight as class hero rank 9 interrogates a monster he spared after killing the others. Death Gatling, Class A hero rank 8, gathers other heroes to fight 100 Eyes Octopus, but Flashy Flash, S-Class hero rank 13, arrives and grievously wounds it with his incredible speed. Right when Flashy Flash is about to unleash his final rule, Tatsumata, S-Class hero rank 2, arrives and kills 100 Eyes Octopus with ease, berating Flashy Flash for being too slow before leaving, but not before Flash insults her back. Atomic Samurai attends a meeting with the Council of Swordmasters, Nichiren, Amar, Zanbai, and Harajiri to discuss the Garou problem. Harajiri reveals that he has sided with the Monster Association and gives the Swordmasters 3 monster cells which will amplify their strength, speed, and skill at the cost of their humanity and turning them into monsters. Harajiri tries to kill Atomic Samurai, as per order of Monster Association, but Atomic Samurai slays Harajiri before leaving with his disciples, Bushido, Byain, and Akamatachi, to find the Monster Association base. Meanwhile in the Super Fight tournament, Saitama defeats Sourface and Joes, before facing off against Suiryu in the finals, with Suiryu promising to show Saitama what martial arts are all about. During the fight, Suiryu begins to express his disdain about the hero lifestyle and tries to persuade Saitama not to become a hero since it is pointless and boring to do heroic justice and save the day. Instead, Suiryu remarks that people with great strength such as Saitama should seek thrills, just like him, before he kicks Saitama in the head. Angered and annoyed, Saitama lets the kick connect, knocking the wig off his head. Finally exposed, Saitama throws a short-range punch, while explaining that, if Suryu's goal is to seek fun, he shouldn't try to make himself stronger than he is currently. However, Saitama restrains his punch before it hits Suiryu, which creates a powerful shockwave that blows off Suryu's clothes, exposing his muscular body and leaving him in a state of deep shock. Despite Saitama being disqualified, Suiryu still attacks Saitama in anger, even using his final attack, Void Phoenix Ascension Fist. Saitama is unfazed by the assault. When Saitama says that martial arts are techniques that make you look cool, and starts spinning around, Suiryu tries to attack Saitama yet again, but is knocked back by Saitama into a wall, while taking Saitama's white belt, resulting in Saitama's pants falling down. Despite Suiryu embarrassing Saitama with that action, he is still in deep shock that he lost. In the post-credits scene, Genos wakes up from the wreckage, and a monster is heading toward the martial arts tournament. After the match between Saitama and Suiryu, the closing ceremony wraps up the tournament. The announcer congratulates Suiryu on his win, and the fact he finished unscathed, though Suiryu wonders what would have happened if Saitama hadn't pulled his punch. Out of nowhere, announcements are made that there are monsters around the arena, and the attendants are advised to remain inside to be safe. Suiryu, in an attempt to get Saitama out of his head, flirts with an attractive assistant, calling her cute, when people begin yelling about something approaching the arena, and black feathers begin to fall onto the stage. The 3 crows land, with Rosie, Dave, and Bazuzu in their grasps. Benpatsu tries to flee, but is stopped by Goketsu, who enters the stadium. He easily crushes Benpatsu under his foot, and tosses his body in front of the other contestants. Goketsu mobs the contestants, whom he deems weak, but states they may be useful to him as monsters. Snek and Lightning Max confront Goketsu, only to be kicked into the sky and mocked for their efforts. Goketsu introduces himself as a member of the Monster Association. Zeikos and the announcer realize that Goketsu was once a previous winner of the tournament. Goketsu explains that he was defeated by a certain monster, Araji, but was given the chance by Gyoro and the Raji to become a monster and gain immense strength in exchange for his loyalty to the Monster Association. He then reveals monster cells, the key to his power. He makes the offer for the contestants to eat the monster cells and join the Monster Association, or be killed. Rosie immediately eats one and transforms into a monster. He attacks Dave, slamming his body into a wall. Despite his increased strength, he is no match for Chose, who easily breaks his neck. Chose notes the immense increase in power from eating the monster cells and consumes one himself, transforming into a monster. He knocks Jackaman into the air, incapacitating him. Goketsu, impressed by Chose's monster form, threatens the remaining contestants into eating the cells or be killed by him. When Patsu, worried for his life, consumes one, and is quickly followed by Hamyukichi and Volt and Suiryu, and the other contestants watch as they transform into monsters. Suiryu, still eager to get his defeat by Saitama out of his thoughts, asks the attractive assistant if she would go on a date with him if he defeats the monsters, to which he quickly agrees to. Goketsu sees that Suiryu rebels and orders the new monsters to kill him, giving the signal to kill him, but Patsu speeds towards Suiryu, who quickly knocks him down. Suiryu punches Hamyukichi in the face and uses Benpatsu's body to incapacitate Volton without getting electrocuted. Chose then steps up to fight. Chose tries to stab Suiryu in the chest with his horns, but is unable to pierce her skin. He summons a ball of energy and launches it towards Suiryu, who deflects it into the sky. Shocked by this unexpected occurrence, he is caught off guard by Suiryu, who knees him in the face and breaks his horns. The two continue fighting, at a speed where only Goketsu is able to observe them. Suiryu uses his move, Dark Body Phoenix Rising Fist, to launch Chose away, finally defeating him for good, but notes it has been a while since he had bled in a fight. Goketsu notes the waste of potential if he were to kill Suiryu and give him a final offer to eat a monster cell. Suiryu picks the monster cell up, pretending to ponder being a monster, then throws the cell at Goketsu, saying he wouldn't be able to stand being as ugly as him. Suiryu jumps up and attempts to strike Goketsu's face, but is violently knocked to the floor, causing him to vomit blood. Meanwhile, in City Q, Garou sees Watchdog Man sitting atop a pile of defeated monsters. Eager to defeat the hero, Garou attacks, using his Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist technique. However, all his attacks are thwarted by the hero, who effortlessly parries each of Garou's blows. Garou is furious by this, and is quickly kicked in the face. Watchdog Man speeds around and attacks Garou, who takes a defensive stance and notes, but the hero doesn't fight like a man, but rather an animal. Back in the stadium, Goketsu stands over an injured Suiryu, and gives him 3 seconds to stand or get crushed. Suiryu gets up and tries to attack Goketsu's face again, using multiple punches and strikes, but Goketsu is unharmed by his attacks. Suiryu watches as the crows start attacking the other contestants in innocence, but is punched to the ground by Goketsu. Suiryu tries his most powerful move, Dark Body Quake Tiger Fist, against a monster, but his attack is easily stopped. Goketsu throws Suryu's body towards the crows as food and they begin to peck at him. Suiryu sees Bakizan watching the battle and asks him for help. Bakizan mocks Suiryu, observing how the champion of the tournament is brought to the brink of death by a monster. He rejects Suryu's pleas for help and devours the remaining monster cells. Seemingly unable to handle the consumption of more than one monster cell, Bakizan falls to the ground, much to the amusement of Goketsu. Elsewhere, the monster Geoffrey begins attacking the hospital, where Mumen Rider and Tank Top Master are recovering. Stepping on an injured Mumen Rider, the monster prepares to kill him when a healed Tank Top Master arrives in time and tackles the monster out of the hospital, saving Mumen Rider. Mumen Rider is helped up by the Tank Top Master and compliments the S-Class hero's attack. Back in the stadium, the crows attack Suiryu, but are knocked aside by Snek and Lightning Max, who have donned their hero outfits. The heroes assist Suiryu in defeating the 3 crows. Suiryu, ready to escape, sees the 2 heroes taking a fighting stance towards Goketsu, and asks why they aren't fleeing, noting they are weaker than himself, and stand no chance against a monster. The 2 state that it's their job as heroes, and gives the chance for Suiryu to flee. Hearing Goketsu quickly crush the heroes, Suiryu tries to leap over the stadium to escape, but is stopped by the newly transformed Bakizan, who strikes him down to the ground. Goketsu notes Bakizan has potentially reached the same threat level as him, Dragon. Seeing Suiryu trying to stand, Bakizan leaps into the air and savagely attacks the helpless champion. Gyoro tells Arachi that their plan to take over the humans is in motion and seemingly working. Using a small flying drone-like eye, Gyoro contacts Goketsu and tells him to return to the monster base, as S-class heroes may be arriving. Goketsu offers Bakuzen a chance to return to the monster's lair. Bakuzen sees this as an order and charges towards Goketsu, only to be threatened by him with a punch that purposely misses, but punches a hole in the arena wall. Goketsu warns him not to get too cocky, as that their monster's far stronger than him in the Monster Association. Goketsu then leaves to return to the lair of the Monster Association. Bakuzen sees the fallen Suiryu, battered, bloodied and weak, pleading to leave him be and fully surrendering, stating he was done with the fighting. Instead of granting his wish, the monster grabs Suiryu by his long hair and lifts him towards his face, saying he enjoyed beating up the weak around him. A desperate Suiryu begins to rip his hair to escape Bakuzen's grasp and tries to walk away, only for him to sadistically break his already injured legs. Enjoying the feeling, Bakuzen steps on Suiryu again, tormenting him further and mocking the great Suiryu for screaming in agony. An utterly defeated Suiryu then pleads for someone, anyone, a hero, to help him, yelling out into the distance and seemingly getting no response. He pleads any hero who can hear him for help, only to get silence in response. Seeing the unconscious Sour Face and Lin, seeing the battered Snek and Lightning Max, he pleads one of them to rise up and defeat Bakuzen, despite the heavily stacked odds against him. Bakuzen then steps on the unconscious bodies of the heroes and Suiryu begins to cry as his life is about to end, only for a confused Bakuzen to see no bodies where his footprint is, and Saitama protects Snek and Max. Seeing the caked figure, Bakuzen asks who they are. Saitama responds he is merely a hero, and tells Suiryu that his pleas for help were unheard. Complimenting Suiryu for holding his own, Saitama tells him to leave the rest to him and faces Bakuzen. Bakuzen recognizes Saitama as the one who defeated him, but Saitama kills Bakuzen in one punch. Saitama formally introduces himself to Suiryu as a hero and explains that he joined the martial arts tournament to find the hero hunter as well as experience martial arts. Saitama plans to leave, but Suiryu begs Saitama not to, because Goketsu is out there. Saitama ignores him nonetheless. Suiryu hears multiple shockwaves, and believes Saitama is killed until Goketsu's decapitated head lands in front of him. Saitama returns and asks Suiryu to not tell anyone what happened, and Suiryu asks if he could become a hero. Saitama agrees, since a nobody like himself can become a hero. Suiryu also asks to be Saitama's disciple, to which Saitama declines. Puri Prisoner manages to defeat a demon-level monster called Free Hugger by hugging it so tightly that it dies. Puri Prisoner receives a call that his cellmates were captured by monsters. After talking to C-Class Water Gun, Saitama has an existential crisis by reflecting that his experience with martial arts and the Hero Association still left him bored. King meets up with Saitama and tries to explain that Saitama was so focused on being the strongest hero, he lost track of himself and should aim to be the best hero. Saitama declines, saying that it sounds boring, but just when he gives up hope, King offers to play against Saitama using only 2 fingers, rekindling Saitama's drive. Garou is defeated by Watchdog Man due to the unpredictable fighting style of Watchdog Man, but is filled with adrenaline on what he can learn. Garou sees King, and is about to hit him, when Saitama kicks Garou into a concrete wall. Saitama mentions that there are news of a hero hunter, and can't wait to meet him. Genos is taken in for repairs to drive. Cruceno. Meanwhile, Speedo Sound Sonic is training, when he is attacked by 2 very powerful ninja warriors named Gale Wind and Hellfire Flame, who offer Sonic monster cells to become stronger. Sonic plans to eat the monster cells, but due to him cooking the monster cells he doesn't undergo transformation, and has diarrhea instead. S-Class Hero Rank 8 Zombieman sees Martial Gorilla, and is about to follow him, when Armored Gorilla encounters Martial Gorilla. Armored Gorilla knocks out Martial Gorilla, so Zombieman decides to follow Armored Gorilla instead. Bang and Bomb talk about Garou, and a monster infiltrates a member of the Hero Association to give them a message. Saitama loses to King multiple times in a fighting video game. While taking a break, Saitama notices King's emergency transmitter. Gyoro and Destructoridium take control of an executive in the Hero Association as they negotiate for monsters and humans to coexist. Destructoridium then kills an executive, revealing that they were lying, and unveiled their true plan to the Hero Association, for the heroes to assemble and face the entire Monster Association in an all-out battle. Destructoridium then grabs his pistols to attack the remaining executives, but Super Alloy Darkshine arrives and kills Destructoridium after it fails to take control of Darkshine. Gyoro and Arachi hold a meeting for monsters to fight against the heroes when Arachi notices Awakened Cockroach and eats him due to the latter's loss in battle. Du-S is spared from Arachi when Gyoro remarks that she has special abilities. Arachi asks Gyoro where Goketsu is, but Gyoro finds out that Goketsu was killed. Leaks that the Monster Association is going to war with the Hero Association reach the public and road monsters. The road monsters seek to join the Monster Association, but they are all slain by Saitama, who is late for garbage duty. Garou wakes up from Saitama's kick and sees A-class hero Death Gatling, but is too tired and goes to a shack to rest, yet Death Gatling notices him. Terio and his friends find someone in their shack and force Terio to get that person out. Garou and Terio meet again, and Garou tells Terio if he doesn't want anyone to bully him, he should get stronger. Genos gets upgrades from Dr. Kuseno to better handle villains. Death Gatling arrives with his crew: Stinger, Smile Man, Wildhorn, Chaintip, Glasses, Gun, and Shooter to confront Garou. Garou notices the crew and looks at Terio's almanac briefly before facing off against the heroes. Loudly proclaiming that after defeating them, he will have beat 100 heroes, Garou lunges at the heroes, but is knocked back and kept unsteady by the barrage of attacks. Noting their teamwork, Garou targets Glasses, the presumed weak link, only to learn that Glasses is ready and able to fight as well. The heroes give the weakening Garou one last chance to surrender. As Garou catches his breath from being overwhelmed by the heroes, Death Gatling gives him one final chance to surrender. He explains to Garou that all the heroes present were all personally chosen by him for being highly skilled and have seen death in the face before. Garou laughs at the statement highly skilled, saying how he only gets excited from fighting the S-class heroes, not the A and B class surrounding him. Death Gatling unexpectedly responds and agrees with him, saying there is a hierarchy in the Hero Association. There are even meetings only for the S-class, and how the lower-tier heroes don't receive any fame. By taking down the Hero Hunter, they will finally receive the recognition they deserve. Garou is amused at their reason to defeat him, but suddenly staggers before saying another word. His vision blurs and his breathing becomes harder, to which he assumes the poison from Shooter's arrows is the reason. Garou thinks to himself how the heroes he faces are a staircase to becoming the monster he desires to be, and because of this, he doesn't back down. Shooter, Smile Man, and Chainted attack simultaneously, but Garou dodges their attacks. Stinger sees Garou's slower speed and surmises the poison has circulated, further weakening him. However, Garou remains defiant, remembers a childhood memory of how he was asked by children as to why he roots for the monsters in a TV show. Garou staggers again, and Chainted chains his ankle. As Smile Man winds up his kendama for Rith rotation of Du, Garou takes a stance and re-erects the attack to Chainted with Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist. Garou takes the side of Chainted's chain and cuts the rope of Smile Man's kendama. Gun tries to shoot Garou, but is defeated when Garou punches the dama, the ball of the kendama, and is hit. The dama bounces around trees from the sheer forces of Garou's punch, but nearly hit Wildhorn when he extends his pile driver and smashes it into harmless pieces. The hero is soon shocked when Garou appears behind the shards, but is unable to escape due to his legs being chained by Garou. Shooter launches a volley of arrows into the air to stop Garou, but the hero hunter grabs Wildhorn and uses him as a meat shield to deflect the volley. Glasses tries to stop Garou by throwing stones at speed, but Garou catches them with his greater speed between his fingers and flings them at Shooter with even greater force, incapacitating the archer before he could fire again. Stinger then charges and aims his spear, but Garou violently slams Wildhorn into the ground, knocking him out and using him as a shield. Shocked and unable to attack, Stinger retreats back. Garou is amused and pleased he has defeated 4 of the 8 heroes. Smile Man tells Death Gatling that taking Garou alive isn't an option now, and he agrees that Garou brought his death on himself. Despite the poison blurring his vision, Garou runs and speeds around the forest, with Glasses in pursuit. Glasses wonders how, despite the injuries Garou has suffered, he is still pushing them towards defeat. Garou yells at Stinger to fight him one-on-one. When Stinger tries to charge at Garou, Death Gatling is about to fire his weapon when the hero hunter grabs a tree root from the ground and wildly swings it around, giving him a distraction to kick Smile Man and defeat him. As Garou insults Stinger for being as stupid as he is, Death Gatling surmises that Garou can't dodge his Gatling gun and fires walls and bullets at Garou, ripping the forest around him. Garou runs away from the fire and runs towards Glasses, and then starts running as well. Garou taunts him for wanting to fight him before, and is now running from his opponent. Garou repeatedly punches Glasses, and forces him to block and go on the defensive. Glasses recalls how he would hold back the Blizzard group, with Mountain Ape saying how they shouldn't have to split their earnings with him. Just a Nubian hearing this, Glasses timidly agrees on, but remains upset at their words. One day, demonic Fan appears and decimates the group, with Glasses as the last one standing. As the monster goes in for the kill, Glasses says his last words when a cape flies in his face. Saitama arrives and effortlessly punches demonic Fan out of the building. Glasses voices how he is just a normal man at his limits fighting crime, that he isn't cut out to be a hero. Saitama hears this and states that nothing decides their limits, giving Glasses the determination to continue as a hero. Back in the present, Glasses stands his ground, grabs Garou by the shoulder and tries to punch, but Garou is too quick and pummels the hero bloody. Stinger tries to jump into the fray, but Death Gatling holds him back, thinking it was just a trap. However, Stinger can no longer bear to see his disciple beaten further, and charges forward with gigantic Thrill Stinger. Garou sees this and uses Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist to stop the attack and pummels Stinger unconscious. Glasses tries to make a last stand, but is finally knocked back and defeated by Garou, too slow and injured to fight. With Death Gatling the last one standing, he makes the decision to use his final move Death Shower as the downed heroes are away from the path of fire. Garou tries to warn him that a kid, Terrio, is inside the shed behind him, but the hero doesn't listen to his life. Death Shower is activated, and a storm of bullets flies at Garou. Using Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist again, he deflects nearly all the bullets around him in the shed, saving Terrio, at the cost of a few hitting him. An utterly shocked Death Gatling sees Garou still standing and takes aim, but Garou doesn't flinch. He taunts him by mentioning how Death Shower expends all his ammunition at once. The proud Garou states that Death Gatling has proven firearms don't work on a hero hunter and taunts the hero by echoing the same words she said to him earlier. This shouldn't have happened. He insults him further that they should have just bothered to call in an S-Class hero, and the situation would have been different. A defiant Death Gatling voices how despite not being S-Class, he and the other heroes still risk their lives to stop evil. The hero raises a blade and charges at Garou, only to be knocked away without Garou flinching. Garou calls the A-Class hero's efforts pathetic and crushes his Gatling gun to pieces. Terrio walks out of the shed and approaches Garou, but when he turns to see him still alive, Terrio only sees the defeat of the heroes and the bloodlusted hero hunter in front of him, and runs away in fear, calling for help. Garou tries to raise a hand to call at Terrio, but decides against it, instead pulling out the arrows in his back. Victorious but heavily injured, Garou walks away when a sudden blast erupts behind him. Genos arrives, summoned by a distress call from Glasses, and fully powered by a new body after his defeat by Goketsu. Despite his injuries, Garou attacks back and the battle rages in the forest. Both sides seem to tie in speed and power with Garou skill matching Genos upgrades. Genos uses Machine Gun Blow to pummel Garou when he attacks back with Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist and kicks Genos into the ground, burying him in rock. Garou leaps in the air to finish Genos when the earth around him begins to light up in flame. A blast fires from Genos' hand and barely misses Garou, knocking him back. Garou is amazed on how the cyber trick him into attacking and falling into his trap, while Genos is impressed that the hero hunter held his own effectively despite being in a weakened state. Meanwhile, Saitama seems about to win his first match against King, when he suddenly uses a combo and defeats him, making it 81 wins to King and 0 to Saitama. An angered Saitama slams his head to the ground and King says how he let Saitama think about his imminent victory only to trick him. He further states how he is simply button mashing to win, and how he can easily win the match with his eyes closed, to Saitama's growing frustration. King gives the suggestion to give him his console to help him practice when his phone receives word of a monster. An excited Saitama readies himself to fight, when King further mentions how the battle may already be over since S-Class heroes have arrived. Saitama then raises the question as to why so many monsters appear in Z-City, but King only states how unsanitary that would be. King then asks Saitama on Genos' whereabouts and mentions how the Monster Association has been a big issue lately, and a monster recently defeated him. Saitama brushes the concerns away, stating he is Genos after all. Garou states how Genos both has incredible speed, a similar level of strength to Tank Top Master, and his incineration cannon in his hand. As Garou walks away seemingly in defeat, Genos tells him to continue walking as there is no escape from them. Garou suddenly slows down and changes his stance, hunching his back and bringing his arms closer to him. Remembering Watchdog Man's moves, Garou adopts them and leaps around the trees with incredible speed, shocking Genos. Garou speeds around the forest and makes his way behind Genos before he can seemingly notice. The hero hunter rips away the cyber's right arm when the arm grabs his throat automatically and releases cables from a hand, ensnaring him at a nearby tree. Genos tells him that the Monster Association is now a bigger issue and that the heroes have no time to deal with small fry like him. Garou becomes enraged and decides that defeating the S-Class hero would make society fear him more. As Genos fires his cannon at Garou, the hero hunter breaks the tree holding him, moving him away from the blast, and rubs his blood into his hair, staining it as red as his bloodshot eye. Genos readies another blast when monsters appear to assist Garou. One of them asks Garou to join forces with the Monster Association, only to be ignored. When it asks again, Genos has finished carving through all of them with blades from his forearms and kills the final monster, shocked that Garou has contact with the Monster Association. Learning from the previous day, Genos voices his determination that despite knowing there are monsters that eclipse him in power, he would never let his guard down. He recalls with Saitama-sensei's words that he must reign to the height of herodom. Garou becomes shocked at this Saitama-sensei and Genos' response that he is the ultimate hero and no monster can defeat him. As Genos readies his incineration cannon at Garou, Bang arrives and brutally kicks his former disciple in the face, knocking him away. Bomb arrives soon after to help Genos, with Bang handling Garou and Bomb dealing with the remaining monsters. Bang looks at Garou and talks to him, saying long time, no see. Recognizing the voice of his hated former master, Garou stands up to face him. As Bang readies his fighting stance, Garou cracks his hands and straightens his arms, setting the bones back. Garou remembers his childhood in the dojo, asking if his master was strong and questioning him. Sourface arrives and berates the young boy for talking ill of Bang, when Garou suddenly falls back and sleeps on the floor. Sourface asks if he could throw the boy out of the dojo, when the master instead suggests giving him something to eat when he wakes. Remembering this, Garou charges forward, with sharpened teeth and the rock-smashing fist ready, at the man who taught him what he knows now. I am what he knows now. Bang hits Garou with Water Stream rock-smashing fist and Garou counters with the same attack. Standing aside, Genos notes that Bang's mastery of the style is far superior to his disciples, saying how the battle has already been decided. Bang gives his all, kneeing Garou in the face and slamming Garou into the forest floor. Leaping into the air, he furiously assaults his former student, punching his chest into the ground, Garou himself pondering that Bang has never fought this aggressively before, and worries his death may be imminent. With the moods taken from Watchdog Man's fighting style, Garou escapes the onslaught of fists and leaps around the trees, to Bang's confusion. He attempts to use Death Gatling's body as a shield, only to be kicked away by Bomb, having taken care of the monsters assisting Garou. Phoenix Man surveys the battle from above, noticing how Genos, Bang, and Bomb have defeated the monsters he sent. Knowing the consequences of disobeying Orochi, he realizes that, in order to return to Orochi with Garou has to survive his battle against the heroes. Garou curses the fact that his former master is using the advantage that he is already beaten, and his brother Bomb, master of Whirlwind Iron Cutting Fist, is with him to stop him. He then realizes that Genos is also there to stop him, and Garou decides to kill all three in order to escape his situation. Garou, nearing death, sees his life flash before him and reminisces on a particular memory of playing in the playground with the other kids. One of them, Tatsu, kicks another child to replicate Justice Man. When Garou notes of the potential danger of replicating the show, Tatsu orders the other children to surround Garou and insist Garou be the monster himself. At school, Garou starts a fight, tired of Tatsu's treatment of him, only for the principal to condescendingly insist Garou is the one at fault. This is the fuel that drives Garou forward, and he continues to attack the heroes, splitting the ground and knocking Bang and Bomb back. As Garou prepares to attack again, Phoenix Man appears above him and blows away the heroes with gusts of wind from his wings. He grabs the hero hunter by the shoulders and flies away. Bang, Bomb, and Genos land unharmed and see a monster helping Garou. Genos attempts to shoot the two down, ignoring Bang's pleas. Phoenix Man suddenly yells that he is taking Garou and is leaving the rest of you. Shouting his name, Phoenix Man summons Elder Centipede, the dragon-level monster erupting out of the ground, and stopping Genos' beam from hitting Garou and Phoenix Man. With the ground splitting from the creature's enormous size, the defeated heroes nearly fall into the chasm before being saved by the three. Garou becomes angered at the monster's intervention of his fight, only for Phoenix Man to respond by telling him to be quiet and let Elder Centipede finish the battle. Phoenix Man notes that according to Gyoro, only 4 S-class heroes stand a chance of beating the Centipede, Tatsumaki, Metal Knight, King, and the very hero that nearly kill him, Blast. Garou orders him to release him, only to be told to calm down and let Elder Centipede kill the heroes. Phoenix Man states that, while the three are obviously very powerful, Bang and Bomb's martial arts would be useless, and Genos lacks the firepower to kill something of Elder Centipede's size. The monster charges forward, and Genos retaliates by firing his incineration cannons into his face and eyes. He steps back and lets the two brothers attack. Together, they combine their techniques to create Whirlwind Water Stream Roaring Aura Sky Ripping Fist, and the attack hits Elder Centipede directly, knocking the immense creature back. The duo don't let up, and continue to attack, but Elder Centipede hits back, knocking Bang and Bomb away and only save when Genos stops them from flying back any further. The monster's exoskeleton cracks and falls away, only to regrow in mere seconds, and a new face grows back, signaling the creature has only gained more power, despite the brothers' efforts. Realizing they have no chance and the monster entering the city means civilian casualties, Genos steps up to try and stop Elder Centipede. The elder heroes try to stop him, saying how he is still young, and has his life ahead of him. Genos himself remembers Dr. Coulsino's works, to not push himself too far. Genos decides to fight anyway, flying to the monster and firing his cannons at its face. Genos, knowing Goketsu, Elder Centipede, and Garou are part of the Monster Association, and realizes a battle like this was inevitable. The demon Cybird flies to the Centipede's face, and slashes wildly at its eyes with his arm blades. Elder Centipede reels in pain, but catches Genos' leg in his mouth and bites down, then grinds his face against his body to crush Genos. Genos breaks free, but is caught by an antenna, and is helpless as Elder Centipede's pincers slice his body in half. However, the halves of his body soon rejoin, and the Cybird flies into its mouth, breaking one of its teeth. Inside, acidic fluids nearly kill Genos, but he retains enough strength to activate Ultra-Spiral Incineration Cannon, burning the monster from the inside. Elder Centipede retches and spits out Genos, landing hard in the dirt away. Despite the hero's efforts, the exoskeleton fuses again, dissipating the heat and rendering Genos' attack useless. Elder Centipede tries to crush the fallen Genos, only for him to be saved by Bang. Garou, still in Phoenix Man's grasp, ponders the battle doesn't end right, that they are his prey, and defeating them would make the hero hunter the greatest object of fear. Phoenix Man laughs at this, stating that Garou doesn't have what it takes to defeat Elder Centipede, let alone the upper echelon of the Monster Association. As Bang and Bomb run away from Elder Centipede, Genos thinks what he is missing, that can beat the monsters like him, and he cannot simply watch a battle. When Bomb notes that they are luring the creature to the city, Bang drops the wounded Genos next to a tree and takes off his shirt, deciding to fight Elder Centipede even at the cost of his life. As Bang takes a stance and prepares to make a last stand, King appears in the forest. With a megaphone in hand, he calls out to Elder Centipede and states that he has brought Blast with him. Knowing his grudge against Blast, King insults and goads Elder Centipede into attacking. King remembers a plan to bring the creature to his location to prevent more city casualties. Elder Centipede charges forward, ready to kill King. King calls out to Saitama to save him, and he arrives in the nick of time. Preparing a serious punch, Saitama hits Elder Centipede square in the face, killing him and causing his body to disintegrate. As Saitama and King collect themselves, they see Bang, Bomb, and the heavily injured Genos. When King notices how Saitama seems refreshed, he responds by saying that throwing the punch help relieved his anger from his consecutive losses to him. Genos appears his master, and asks for what he is lacking. When Saitama suggests he is lacking power, Genos furiously thanks him for his advice, causing King to worriedly tell him not to use Saitama as an example. Genos tells himself how his battles have shown him the way, and what true strength is. Saitama humbly suggests going home,